Hey, it's Heather, and today is a very good day for an adventure in gardening. Plants and nature, things that I've always really been in tune with and completely understand. I totally get plants, and I love to tell people about plants and nature and about gardening. And if there's one thing that I can say that I'm trying to do through this YouTube channel is further the agenda of organic gardening and how gardening does not have to be perfect. It has to be something that you totally enjoy and love to do. And that's what I want to show people, like just love it and figure out how to do one little thing every season and get better at gardening, producing food, and just being happy in your garden. So something that I'm really having trouble with is how to get more people to view my YouTube channel. So at any time during this video, or if you've watched my past videos, you can give my videos a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate that, because then YouTube will let people know that there's something that I'm doing that has value and that more people should see it. And then more people will come along on the adventure. So today I kind of feel like a puppy in its first day out of the box. I am just all over the place. There is so much to do this time of year. I mean, crazy amounts of things, because harvest time and food preservation time, it brings a whole nother element to gardening and homesteading. And so not only am I trying to water the plants and keep the plants alive and planting the fall garden, but now I've got to be like, you have to pick the produce. It has to be picked. You can't, it won't wait for you. So, so why am I picking flowers, right? It seemed like the thing to do at the time. No, okay, so I'm picking flowers first of all because I'm going to be spending some time in the kitchen today, because there is some food preservation to be done, and I like to have it pretty, and I like to have my vases full. But actually I'm going to the town hall to vote today, and I know the way that things are going right now, people, it's a little nerve-wracking out there, so I thought, well, I'll bring them a bouquet of flowers, and just as a thank you for doing what they do. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and scoot you guys down, and I'll talk a little bit about what I'm gonna do today, and you can see the flowers that I'm picking too. So this is my kitchen vase, and this is, whenever I bring a gift bouquet to anybody, I always put it in a canning jar because I don't expect to get it back. So I picked some dahlias. That was the first thing that I picked out front. I just love this. This one here, I think is called Maniac. Isn't that gorgeous? Love that. And then I just have a few others. So I'm gonna start just by putting the dahlias in the vases. So on my list of things to do today, I started prepping some beets last night for pickled beets. So they're in the refrigerator waiting for me. And the green beans need to be harvested today, but I really don't want to can them today. So, but I have to do it tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be either pickling the green beans and making the garlic dilly beans, or I'll pressure can them. I know we really enjoyed putting them in the freezer last year, and they tasted just like they were fresh out of the garden, but I only have so much freezer space, and you know, I think it's going to be a bad year for hurricanes, so you know, I don't want to have the freezer full. So I'm either going to pickle them or I'm going to pressure can them. All right, so I picked this Sweet Annie that goes really nice in arrangements. Just gonna make it a little bit shorter. And it smells really nice too. I don't even know if I could tell you what it smells like. I don't know. It smells nice. And then I picked some mountain mint to use as a filler. It's just little things like this they tie a bouquet together. And I am by no means a professional florist or flower arranger. A flower arranger? Yeah, florist. And then I have some Queen Anne's lace that has gone to seed, and I just like the way that these look in flower arrangements. Now for the kitchen arrangement, which I change this out every few days. Rose, what do you have? Do you have a baby? You can bring your baby in here. You can give it to me? You can give it to me? Who wants a baby? Come here. Oops. Okay, so I have two arrangements made. One for the town hall, one for the kitchen, and I made a mess in the process, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and go downtown and vote, and then I'll get back and really get to work. So hanging baskets pretty much defy any kind of gardening logic. I mean, they're these plants suspended in air in the middle of summer for an entire season. What are we, like maybe 3-4 months that we have them out, and there's probably 6 plants in these little tiny pots. And man, watering, you really have to keep up with the watering. We've now reached a point with these that I have to fertilize them every single time because they're starting to lose their color, which is no big deal. The other thing I try to remember to do with them, and I'll do it before I water them today, is I need to turn them so that one side doesn't have all the flowers. And I'm sure most people know, if you have hanging baskets, that you can't just give them little tiny baby drinks, that they need a really big drink, a kind of drink that comes all the way out the bottom when you water your hanging baskets. So depending on how many hanging baskets you have, it's going to require a couple trips to your water source. And these guys, it's been so hot for so many days that I have to do it like twice a day now, in the morning and then again in the evening. You know, I really should be starting inside and get the beets off of my plate and get them pickled and canned and clean the kitchen and be done with it for the day. But you know what? I totally got sidetracked, and the dogs really want to go outside. Every time I'd walk through the house, they'd be like, "We're going out now? How about now?" They do this cute little thing with their lips when they're like expecting something. It's like great expectation face or something. It's like they suck their little lips in and their eyes get all like, I don't know. I want them to have a good day as well as me get my chores done. So I figured I'd start in the lower yard with some things like I still am removing all of the yellow leaves from the tomato plants and picking the green beans. So I'll do this while they go and take a swim. So as you can see behind me, storm cleanup is still a very real thing going on here. It's just, you know, there's so many other things. Like, okay, so I got most everything is in a pile, and you know, there's still like branches and dead leaves in all of the garden beds, but it's gonna have to wait because you have to prioritize things, right? And when you work so hard to produce food, to let it just rot on the vine or in the ground, it just doesn't make any sense. So you have to be at peace with a little bit of chaos sometimes. As soon as I get some time, I'll start to get these piles out of the way because I know they're going to kill any grass that's under them, which isn't really grass. Okay, it's my crabgrass. So a lot more tomatoes on the vines here than I originally thought, and that means another whole job that needs to get done. Yesterday I canned whole tomatoes, and that was part of my list of things to do, and this is kind of unexpected. So I think what I'm going to do is buy myself some time, and tonight I will take the skins off of these and start in the crock pot. I'll start some sauce, and the sauce will get canned tomorrow or another day after that. Some magical day between tomorrow and the day after that. There's a magic day where all the jobs get done. So this is a pretty good haul that I wasn't expected. And some of them they have a blush on them, and I just decided to pick them so that I wouldn't miss them. And then I don't know if you can see these. These are the black icicle tomatoes. So wow, these are gorgeous, like really gorgeous. And these are ready. These are ready to go. Look at these. I love these. Aren't they pretty? They've got a little bit of green on the top of them. They're totally ripe though. They're totally ready to go. So I'm going to, as I'm going to go along, a lot of these tomato plants are looking super tired. And you know, we're just trying to keep disease at bay. That's all that we're doing. And a lot of this is from the storm. You know, the wind was, because they're on strings, and that made so much sense to me until I saw what the wind was doing to the strings, and it was just like they were all over the place. So they got wind whipped. So I'm going to be taking all of these leaves that are either brown or yellowing off, and they go into the garbage. So I'll just make a little pile for now as I'm going to pick the tomatoes, remove the leaves, and then I'm going to move on to the other side. I have some jobs on the other side that need to be done. It's funny how sometimes things just sneak up on you like this. It's a beautiful sight, right? So this variety of tomato right here, this one is called Indigo Apple. This is a new one for me this year. The jury's still out as to whether we're going to carry this one next year. It has, what did we grow last year? It had a really earthy flavor to it. Oh, I know, it was Paul Robeson, and everybody was raving about Paul Robeson. It was like the most delicious tomato, and we got it, and it was way too earthy for us. So this one sort of reminds us of that, but I don't know yet. We only had one of these tomatoes so far, but it sure is pretty. It's gorgeous. These are, what are these? These are chocolate pear tomatoes. And I really like them, and they are just so cute. I mean, just adorable. Look at how cute this is. Right? And they've got great color to them, so I really like this tomato. And it really tastes like a full-size tomato. You know, it's got that really perfect balance of tomato flavor. I really like it. These are Isis candy. These are super sweet. Love these. And there's a lot of yellow leaves over here too. Oh my goodness. It's funny how fast things can get out of control. You know, Annabelle is she's going to end up getting a timeout over there. You girls play nice. They're like, we are playing nice. Boy, I'll tell you, this year has been so challenging. And I can't even remember the last time we had a really good rain either. Oh well, no whining. There's no crying in gardening. Okay, so berries, no, I keep calling this the wrong name. Brad's Atomic Grape. How do you know when it's ripe? So, now last year, I don't know, it's kind of weird because of them are the same. Like these are like elongated and kind of copper and red and green, and you can tell when they're ripe by squeezing them like that. But anyway, so this is one of the look of this tomato, and then there's another completely different one that is round and more purple. I didn't get any of the round and purple ones this year. Hey, take it easy. You're not going to shake there, are you? Anyway, and how many did I plant? I planted 6 of them, and they're all the same. Okay, here's one that actually started to split because I missed it. Hey Rose, why don't you go play, honey? Why don't you go swim? Oh, a couple more splitters. Now I've never used the Brad's Atomic Grape in sauce before, and there sure are a lot of them here. Maybe I'll try drying some of them. See how they are with that. That'd be awesome. Kind of like a, maybe like a sun-dried tomato kind of thing. All right, there's some more on the other side. What are you doing? You coming to look in the basket? Don't you eat those. Hey, are you eating those? Little miss, you go. No, not short. Hey, no. So you know what I was just thinking? Because I have so many of these, I wonder if this would make a really good salsa. I think that might be a good idea. All right, so I'm gonna go through here and not talk and do things faster, and then I'll show you how many tomatoes I have when I'm all done, and I have to get the yellow leaves off too because it's bad. You are not a butterfly, and you are not a cow, So what are you doing in the garden eating the ornamental grass? Little miss. Yeah, you. See, this is as good as my daughter listened to me when she was growing up, so I should expect pretty much the same. Silly dog. Here's what I ended up picking today. Pretty good, right? I'm so excited. Now the green ones, I didn't mean to pick them, they fell off, so I'll make fried green tomatoes or see if they want to turn. So there's some things in this garden I want to show you real quick that I think are pretty cool. I had shared one other time before that I was growing sugar baby watermelons on this post. And actually they're doing really, really well. Can you see the watermelon right there? Yeah. And there's a couple of baby watermelons too. Now, do you see that tip right there of the tomato plant? And then there's another tip right there. Okay, that means that there are tomato hornworms in here. And I've seen them. And you might be tempted to kill your tomato hornworms. But something that I've learned recently is the little white sacks. Now I knew, and most people know, yes, they're a beneficial wasp that lays its eggs and then uses the tomato hornworm as a host. But what I did not know is that beneficial wasp eats the striped cucumber beetles. Now the last few years I have thrown the tomato hornworms to the hens, and I should have been leaving them so that the wasp can complete their life cycle. So, all right, so that guy, he's a goner. He's eaten his last tomato, and his last tomato leaf, and his last tomato branch. Now the not so cool thing I want to show you at the other end. Let me show you. Now at this end, I am growing the tiger melons, right? Okay, so how many did I plant here? 3, I think I planted 3 tiger melon vines here. And this vine here was doing the best. And it grew to the top the quickest. And then look, okay? So I'm pretty sure that this was the striped cucumber beetle because I've been picking them off of the vine. And so what I've read is that it restricts, it cuts down the plant's ability to take water up from the ground, okay, and I guess they wilt. Okay, this is my theory. I don't know this for fact that this is going on with the cucumber plants and now with this melon, but it sure looks that way, doesn't it? Now at night this perks up, and during the day it wilts. This one so far is doing okay. Please, striped cucumber beetle, stay away. I'm gonna need therapy if this vine goes too, because it's gonna be really cool. Keep going, keep going. So here is the tiger melon on the wilted one, and I'm hoping that I can just get it to maturity for seed. And here is a tiger melon on the not wilted plant. So it's really pretty. Now let's go pick some beans. So after a quick look through this row of beans right here, it looks like I can wait until tomorrow or maybe even the day after tomorrow to pick them, and which is great because the plants are healthy. Do I dare say there's no insects on them? No Mexican bean beetles? Because there are Mexican bean beetles on the old beans up there. Yeah, now I just like cursed myself, right? So they look healthy and they got watered this morning, and I would rather have the beans stay on the plants and continue to grow. So, but there are a few. So it's a few like about this big that I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna pick them right now. So, because I don't want them to get too big. This is the crop that really counts for our winter foods. The other crop was mostly for seed and eating. fresh eating. Annabelle! Oh, Annabelle. All right, I'm gonna have to go get her. Yes, you come here. Annabelle, what are you doing? Finding stuff to eat that's not food? Okay, yeah, definitely this is something I needed to do today. No, it's not yours. Okay, maybe you can have a small one. How about one of these? Do you want this one? Here you go. Go take it. Go on. So there are some that are just to their, as big as I want them to get in the garden. So I'll either keep them in the fridge until I'm ready to can, or we'll eat them tonight. Speaking of dinner, what is for dinner tonight? Oh gosh. Well, I have plenty of tomatoes, and I've got green beans. Green beans and tomatoes. Boy, I'll tell you what, it is really getting hot out here. So I want to hurry up and finish these outside chores and go inside and partake of the air conditioning. I want to show you, well, first of all, let me show you what I got for green beans down below. I found 2 more tomatoes. I'll take those out. But that's about all I have for green beans that I need to pick today from down there, and they'll probably be dinner tonight. Now, I want to show you the yes, Penny. Now I want to show you the first crop of string beans and what they look like right now, and it is not pretty. They are not pretty at all. But they have some Mexican bean beetle, the larvae stage, the little fluffy stage. Penny, you are right on the microphone here. So the great news about the larvae stage of the Mexican bean beetle is they don't run from you, and they're easy to squish. And I've really neglected getting in there, and that's going to bite me in the butt later, because the bean beetles, they move a little quicker and they're a little harder to catch. So I'm going to take just a couple minutes and go through and get as many as I can, and I'll show you what they look like. But oh great, now I'm sweaty and covered in cat fur. Yay! Okay. So in this row are volunteer ground cherry plants, and I know I've mentioned this before. Ground cherry plants, they're a plant that I actually grow and sell as part of the Cheeky Tomatoes Heirloom organically grown tomato business that I do, just a local business where I sell plants. And I grow the ground cherries as well. And when I start them from seed in containers and sell them, or plant them myself, they end up being a very flat, horizontal-like plant. When they are volunteers, they are upright like little trees. I don't know, that's so weird. And they're more vigorous the second year. So here's my advice to all my people out there that bought ground cherries from me. Don't do a good fall cleanup on this particular plant. Let the little husks, now you know when your ground cherries are ripe by when they fall on the ground, hence the name ground cherry. So you let these little husks fall, and you'll have ground cherries for the rest of your life. And so what you do with the ground, so the reason I'm mentioning this is I got to pick up ground cherries while I'm here, and later this week, or maybe next week, I don't know, I'll be doing a video with a scrumptious cake that has, it's the upside down ground cherry cake with caramel. Oh, it is so good, and we'll be making everything from scratch. Okay, so this is the ground cherry right here, and you open up the husk, and there it is. And you eat it. The proper way to eat a ground cherry is you fold back the husk like this. It's like a little handle. Isn't that great? Oh, they're so good. I could just live outside and just eat ground cherries all the time. They taste like pineapple. My friend Lisa, she was over when we did a tomato taste test. And there were, I don't know, 5 of us participating. And I saved the ground cherries for last. And she's having a really good time, and we're like eating tomatoes. And I should have yelled pineapple at the moment that she wasn't expecting pineapple. I don't think anybody ever does the first time they taste a ground cherry, but it's definitely, it doesn't taste like a tomato, and I should have warned her, and she didn't like it at all. But I think that if I had yelled pineapple, she would have been like, oh, that's really good. All right, so let me show you a few things in here. Are you all done swimming? Is it time to go inside? You're a wet, stinky dog. She says, not true at all. Okay, you can see that there is nothing pretty going on here. The arugula has gone to seed, or to flower, to seed. You can still eat the arugula at that stage though. And these are the beans in here. The potatoes, they're just, yeah, so not pretty. All right, so let's take a look at these beans. This is the first crop of beans. And all I do is I flip the plant over like this, looking for the Mexican bean beetles. They're usually on the underside. Here's a big one. See that guy right there? Okay, they're the reason that the leaves look like this. So that is how I take care of them. Here's another one, a little more mature. See, he's got that little white fuzzy part on the end there. Yeah. It is a glamorous life that I live. Glamorous. All right, so, and see these beans? Oh, you could probably eat them, but I'm counting on these for seed. So I'm not going to be picking any more beans from this spot here. So I'll go through and I will get the Mexican bean beetles, but let me show you where the ground cherries are. Grab my bowl. Oh, there they are, they're falling. So the ground cherries are under here. You see them? Now my nephew Andy, he loves these things. So my camera turned itself off and there was a message on it that said it had reached its maximum temperature and I can't use it until it cools down. So that pretty much sums up the day. So I had a couple more things to say about ground cherries and string beans when we were over there. I did finish picking the ground cherries. You can hear that papery sound because the paper on the outside is dry when the fruit is ripe. And the other thing I wanted to mention about the Mexican bean beetle larvae is that whatever it is that you're experiencing in the garden, it's always, for predators, for bad bugs, for the bad guys, for the destructive bugs, it's always a good idea to just sit and observe and wait. Smush, totally go ahead and smush them, but before you reach for a pesticide that is going to pesticides, they don't know boundaries, okay? So they don't know the good bugs from the bad bugs. You want the good bugs to be able to work for you, and they'll do it if you let them. But if you go ahead and just spray everything every time you get a bad bug or something eating your crops, then you're going to be killing off or making the good bugs go away. I got the pleasure to observe a bug that maybe is not on the top of your list as far as being a good bug, but a wasp. The wasp will go in and they will take away the Mexican bean beetle larvae and eat them. So I got to see one the other day in action, so let me show you that. That's pretty cool, right? So you know what, if you can just be patient, and in the meantime, you know, reach out to other gardeners, say, hey, what are you doing about this this particular pest? And you know, mostly what I do is I will take and hand squish them or hand pick them. Now, I have to say, over the years, this really paid off for me, and it was about just waiting and listening and watching and observing and seeing what was going on in the garden and seeing who was going to eat who, because that's a really cool thing. Before I go in and stay in for a while, I'm going to pick some of these cherry tomatoes that I didn't get to pick yet today. So I was just headed in, and then I saw that there was a robin eating these blueberries, which I intended to pick later, and I can't let the robin win. So, and where is the cat? Okay, it's all right. So, but at least now there feels like there's a little bit of a breeze, so that's cool. This is actually the last blueberry bush with blueberries on it. And I don't know what variety it is. I can only tell you that it's the late one. So I'm very thankful to have it. So here's a confession. I actually have never pickled beets before. I've never canned beets before because I've never had any beets to do it with. So this is new for me this year, and my mind is set that this is the year that I'm going to make everything count, that there is no vegetable left behind, that there is no fruit left behind, that there is nothing that I have used my labor to produce left behind. I'm going to make everything count this year. So I looked up pickled beet recipes. Do we say beet recipes or beets recipes? I don't know. Anyway, I looked them up, and they're all like sugar, like lots and lots of sugar, like equal amounts of sugar to vinegar. And I'm like, I don't like to have that much sugar in my recipes, or in any of my food for that matter. So I'm going to I'm winging it. I'm going to totally make this recipe up. I crushed, so I have my vinegar brine on the stove right now, and like I said, I'm totally winging this, so I'll let you know how it comes out. Now, I don't have a ton of beets to do today. The jars that I have behind me are way more jars than I will need, but in the past, I've gotten myself in the position where I didn't have enough jars sterilized for the job, and that just stops everything. So I would rather have too many jars waiting for me. And I am putting gloves on for the beets because I don't want to stain my fingers pink. It's bad enough they already look like they're gardener's hands all the time anyway. So I'm going to put a little bit of onion, and I'm sure I'll have to cut another onion. That's fine. All right, so now comes the messy part. So I'm just going to cut these into bite-sized pieces. So I just wanted to mention, I know I'm not really giving you a recipe today, I'm just bringing you throughout my day today. And but in case, I'll let you know how these come out, if they're good or not. I like beets on salad, so I'm hoping that'll work out. But I did put a teaspoon of pickling spice in the bottom of each one. And I did boil these and peel them last night. So thanks for spending my day with me. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there. It was a great day. We got a lot done, and tomorrow is another day. Thanks for watching, and remember, every day is an adventure. See you soon.